From April 1971 to September 1972, 6 young African-American girls were abducted from their neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. and murdered. Their bodies were found in both the District of Columbia and in Prince George's County, Maryland. The suspect in these murders has been called the Freeway Phantom by the media, but has never been identified. Who was DC's first serial killer? You're listening to Lurking in the Shadows. Welcome back, Shadows.
Hello.
I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Amber. And we're your hosts.
That was close.
It was close.
Well, if you're here, thank you for coming back after last week's terrible episode.
Yes, thank you for rejoining. I apologize. I hope you've forgiven me.
I mean, my case today is bad too, but not to the extent of the last one.
I'm relieved to hear that, so I hope the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, this is a true crime podcast, so it's not good, but
it's not Anthill Kids Cult bad.
It's not. Yes, it's not. We will have to now compare everything to that.
Yeah, that one probably. Yeah, for right now. Hopefully we never have a case that tops that in our career.
But I hope not. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I guess we will.
Yeah, someday. Yep.
But I am excited to hear this today because I know of this, but I don't know all the details and the full story of all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you heard from the beginning, today we're going to be talking about the Freeway Phantom. And this is an unsolved serial killer case.
That's crazy. Now in this day and age.
We have an unknown serial killer out there.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's probably dead now, but there was an unknown serial killer out there.
But you have to think, you said it, it's the 70s. I mean, somebody could be living in their 80s. They could have been 30 killing people then, and, the 70s was 50-some years ago now. So they could be 70s, 80 years old by now. Hanging on to that, those little secrets.
I still think of the 70s as 30 years ago, not 50.
I know.
I can't accept that it's not 2005.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. All right. Well, in early May of 1971, Washington, D.C. was in chaos. The infamous May Day protests brought tens of thousands of anti-war demonstrators to Washington, D.C. to protest the Vietnam War. The announced goal of the protests was to disrupt the basic functioning of the federal government through nonviolent action. They intended to stall traffic to prevent government employees from getting to work on Monday, May 3rd. Their slogan was, "If the government won't stop the war, we'll stop the government."
Damn it, why are we not doing that now?
I know. Yeah, that's true. We need to make another May Day protest.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, damn.
By the end of May 3rd, more than 7,000 protesters had been arrested across the city. 5,000 more were arrested on May 2nd, 4th, and 5th. So 12,000 protesters were arrested altogether. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, they meant business.
This was the largest mass arrest in U.S. history. However, only 79 of those people were convicted of any offense related to the protests.
Yeah, I bet. Look at how much wasted time and money that probably was.
Yes.
And probably what the 79...
it causes issues with our case.
The 79 got was probably nothing worthwhile anyway. Like,
it probably wasn't, yeah. No. But beneath the surface of anti-war tension, a far more dangerous presence was lurking in the shadows. Racial tensions had also been high in Washington, as it was still reeling from the 1968 riots that followed the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. More than 78% of the district's 757,000 residents were black, and there was widespread distrust of the police department, which was more than 60% white at the time.
Oh yeah, and their mass arresting, I bet, made everything way better.
Yeah.
God, they're fucking stupid.
This case starts with Carol Denise Spinks. Carol was 13 years old and a twin, and was one of 8 children raised by single mother Allentine Van Thompson Reeves in the Congress Heights neighborhood in the southeast D.C. Her family called her Bay Bay, and she was in 7th grade at Johnson Junior High School.
What a cute nickname.
I know.
Baby.
On Sunday, April 25th, 1971, Carol left home to go to the nearby 7-Eleven. Their mom was not home at the time and ordered all of the kids to stay inside because she did run a strict household, but Carol's older sister asked her to go to the store to buy TV dinners, bread, and sodas. She made it to the store but would vanish on her 4-block walk back home.
4 blocks, that's it.
4
blocks, that's all it takes.
After 30 minutes, she still had not returned, so her siblings started to worry and called their mom. I can't imagine that frantic phone call she received.
Yeah, because you had no idea, even, like...
Yeah, you told your kids to stay inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their mom then called the police, who suggested Carol likely ran away.
Wait, she suggested that?
No, the police did.
Oh, okay,
after she called them.
Okay, yeah, of course that's what they said. Of course that's what the police said. Yeah. Because they know...
Her mom did not accept them. Go ahead.
I was going to say, they always, they know the daughter or know the child more than the fucking mother would. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I know. We deal with this all the time.
Yeah.
Her mom did not accept this response and formed her own search party with family, friends, and neighbors, but found no trace of Carol.
Well, I mean, good on her for getting started, though, right away. She wasn't waiting around for stupid police to do something.
Yeah. Carol did not run away because her body was found on May 1st behind St. Elizabeth's Hospital near I-295. This is a trigger warning because Carol was found to have been sexually assaulted and strangled.
Poor thing.
Her shoes were missing from the scene, and the autopsy found that she had undigested food in her stomach, suggesting she had been fed and kept captive for most of the 6-day period she was missing.
What? She was kept alive?
Yeah, because she still had undigested food. She went missing 25th, found the 1st.
Wow. Okay. I'm curious if this happens again, if there's going to be a pattern for that one, because that's very unique for a killer, a serial killer specifically, too. They're going to, they're quick action,
At the scene, her body was cool. Rigor had set in at her left knee and right arm. Dried blood was around her nose and mouth. Grass was embedded in her left leg at the thigh. A crushed cardboard milk carton was pressed against her left eye. She had a lac to her lower lip, or laceration. Several marks on her body and blood underneath her fingernails, but the amount was too small for testing.
Damn!
I know. No semen was found, but the hair of a black person, not Carol's, was found on her shorts, sweater, panties, and hair barrette.
Okay, so multiple hairs they found at least, then that...
Yeah, and she had been sodomized.
Oh, God.
They did collect body fluid samples from a vaginal smear, rectal smear, pubic hair, and stomach contents, but this was pre-DNA technology, so those samples were basically useless.
I'm so glad they are taking them.
They did collect them.
Yeah.
And they also found an unknown green fiber on her. A neighborhood boy reported he saw her walking home with groceries that night. The D.C. Metro Police tried to follow leads, but her murder occurred at the worst time because the city is full of anti-war protesters. So their suspect pool was probably, triple, quadruple the size it normally would be.
Yeah, there's enraged people literally running around the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so any of them.
Where do you begin? Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of arrested protesters were overwhelming the local jails, so they had to create makeshift camps, and every available officer in D.C. was called in for emergency duty. This unfortunately didn't leave many officers to investigate Carol's murder. So when I was reading through this, it made me wonder, did this killer plan knowing he would be a lot harder to catch with the amount of people crowding the city? Or, did he just happen to do it at this time and it was a coincidence? I don't know.
Well, I'm curious, all these other murders after that, actually, how long were these protests still going on for that long through all these murders?
No.
Okay. Because, I mean, that's a good theory.
One.
Yeah, that it's a good theory that maybe that's what got him started, maybe got him the confidence to finally,
maybe, yeah,
do that, and then it just kept going. But then he does eventually stop,
Right. Retired homicide detective Romaine Jenkins called. I was going out, and the division commander stopped me. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to do some follow-up on the case of the little girl found in Southeast." And he said, "No, the whole department is on prisoner alert, and that includes the homicide squad. And so I couldn't go," end quote. So, no one's going to go take care of this murder. We're only taking care of the protesters.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fucked up viewpoint, because it's fuck these people who got murdered. This other stuff is more important, when you literally have, it's your own homicide division that could be going off. You have all the other divisions, take them people to go and do this.
Right.
A literal...
I understand there's a protest going on, but that doesn't stop the rest of the world and crime from happening.
No. Yeah. There's still murders that need solved, and there's one actively that just happened under your noses. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves that you're not putting in the effort to fucking find that.
And this was a little girl, 13 years old.
Little girl.
And she wasn't just murdered, she was sexually assaulted.
Yeah, this is more than just that, And she was 4 blocks from her house.
Yes.
Police.
So, I guess this police force doesn't know what, triaging means, because, in no world should a nonviolent protest take priority over the murder of a child.
Thank you. Yep.
And Carol's family was understandably very angry about the lack of police response and investigation into Carol's death.
I couldn't imagine. I'd be fuming.
No. On the morning of July 8th, 1971, 16-year-old Darlenia Denise Johnson left home to go to work at her summer job at the recreation center, but she never arrived. Darlenia lived in the same Congress Heights neighborhood as Carol and walked past her house each day to go to work. Darlenia's mother, Helen, filed a missing persons report. Over the next 1.5 to 2 weeks, someone called Helen's home, never speaking. They only breathed loudly into the phone.
Okay, so this started.
But in the final call,
that started happening. Okay, no, I'll let you. I want to hear this final call. Sorry to disturb you. I want to hear this final part. Then I'll share my.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
And in the final call they received, a man on the line said, "I killed your daughter," then hung up.
So for 2 weeks, that happened, and then that was the final call. She never got it again.
Right.
And police were not investigating this yet?
They were investigating. But...
yeah. Quote. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this was happening over the 1.5 to 2 weeks that she was missing.
Yeah. So she's only missing at this point. Okay, that they're getting the phone calls. See, the reason why I'm asking that is because it makes me believe more that it would actually be the person who did it, because there is no news. We're back in the 70s. There's no news media and stuff maybe that's highlighting this. So how would an outside shitty person who's playing a prank or something be calling this mother every day if it's not even out there that this little girl's missing? So that makes me believe that really could have been the guy.
It could have been, yeah.
That's scary.
Helen reported the phone call to the police, but they didn't have the technology to trace the call. On July 19th, 11 days after Darlenia's disappearance, a police officer discovered the body of a young girl on the roadside of I-295. She had been decomposing under the July sun for 2 weeks, making facial recognition impossible. Police were able to identify her based on the clothing she was wearing. Police couldn't determine her cause of death, though, due to her advanced state of decomposition, but they believed Darlenia was murdered because she was found just 15 feet from where Carol Spinks's body was found 2 months earlier.
Wow. Okay, so we're only 2 months apart.
So he dumped them in the same spot, just about.
Yep. 2 months apart. Same area. And how old was she?
She was 16.
Okay, so, I mean, she probably... between 13 and 16, they're probably looking like the same age, so maybe he has a profile of what he likes. Disgustingly.
Yeah.
So we're developing a pattern here.
Evander Spinks Belk, a sister of Carol Spinks, was hopeful this would bring police closer to finding answers in Carol's case, but sadly this was just the beginning of the killer's reign of terror. On the evening of July 27th, 1971, 10-year-old Brenda Crockett was sent to the local Safeway by her mom for some groceries and dog food just 5 blocks away. That evening, the neighborhood kids were having a movie night, and her mother assumed that Brenda had brought a friend with her, but Brenda went to the store by herself. Around 9:20 p.m., a series of phone calls are made to the Crockett residence. Brenda's younger sister picked up the phone and told her that she was taken by a white man and that she would be heading home in a cab. Brenda was unsure of her location, but told her younger sister she thought she was in Virginia. Brenda then called again, but her stepfather answered this time. Brenda repeated what she had told her sister and said that she was alone in a house with a man. And then her stepfather is quoted saying, "Tell him to come to the phone and tell me where you're at, and I'll come get you." Brenda then asked, "Did my mother see me?" To which he replied, "How could she see you when you're in Virginia? Tell the man to come to the phone." The boyfriend then heard heavy footsteps in the background. Brenda said, "I'll see you," then the line went dead.
I got chills.
I know, I did too when I was reading that.
I have chills. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's the last time they heard from that 10-year-old little girl.
I'll see you.
Ah, fuck me. That's rough. I'm PMSing right now. This isn't good.
It is.
God, that's
I know, it's
sad.
terrible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, she had no idea. Like, obviously, like, she's not frantic. She's not begging for help.
She's 10 years old.
She's 10 years old. Like, so this guy obviously was at this moment not treating her badly, or, you know, like, he's obviously got his intentions, so, like, he's doing everything he can to keep her, like, compliant or whatever, like, being friendly.
Yeah, and in one article I did read she was crying during the second phone call, but I only read that once, so I'm not sure.
But, like, even if she was crying, the quote that you just read doesn't give frantic, scared.
Yeah.
Like, because he's saying, like, "Where are you? I can come get you." If she was frantic and scared, I'd be saying, like, "Yes, Dad, come get me," you know, like, or...
Right, yeah. True, yeah.
So I feel like at this moment, she's feeling like she's not in danger. I mean, she's 10 years old, but she's not feeling...
Yeah.
That's... Oh, that poor dad.
Yeah, I know. And that poor girl, because, like, she has no idea what's happening to her. Like, she doesn't even know the situation she's in.
No.
And she's just like, here I am with this guy.
Yeah, she's just telling her family a story, probably. Like, well, okay, you know, this is what happened with my day. She probably thought nothing of it.
I know.
That's sick.
Brenda's mom came home and learned about the phone call, so she called police, who came to their house to interview the family. Just hours later, around 6 a.m. on July 28th, Brenda's body was found by a hitchhiker on Route 50 near the Baltimore-Washington Parkway in Prince George's County, Maryland. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled with a scarf wrapped around her neck, and her shoes were missing, but her feet appeared clean, like the first victim. And like all the victims, sadly, I could not find much information about her as a person, except she had lots of friends, loved taking photos, and went to church.
She was a little 10-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm. Detectives believe the calls Brenda made were scripted with false information to throw the investigation off. They didn't believe Brenda was ever in Virginia, nor did they believe the killer was a white man. Police were also unable to trace the calls in Brenda's case like Darlenia's. After this third victim is when news reporters came to the neighborhoods to interview people and start their own investigation. Carol Spinks' sister Evander recalled, quote, "The news would tell you more than the police would tell you," end quote. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And the
yeah.
crime theory.
Sorry.
It's kind of. I feel like that happens today even sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tale as old as time. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the term serial killer did start being used in the 70s. I think that is kind of when it started getting coined, but we're in 1971, so very beginning of the 70s. So police weren't quite connecting the dots yet that this was likely one killer they were dealing with.
Yeah, and also you have to think, I mean, the first victim was 13, then 16, then a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
The first victim, even though they're all young women, I mean, the first victim was a black little girl. And then, oh, they're all black, you said.
They're all black.
They
Yep.
are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, we're going to just say that the protests are hindering the police because they should be making these fucking connections here. Let's be real.
Yeah.
There are little girls being murdered.
They do. They do eventually, but yeah.
Yeah, but we're 3 in here.
Yeah.
Ugh, okay.
Okay. 12-year-old Neno. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to say this right. Neno Moshia Yates, or Nini, or Neno, or Nino, she went by, was a shy and quiet sixth grader at Kelly Miller Junior High School. She lived with her father and stepmother in Northeast Washington, D.C. She had just become an older sister as her stepmom had just recently given birth. On October 1st, 1971, Nini left home around 7 p.m. in the 4900 block of Bennington Road in Southeast D.C. to go to the local store, less than a block from their home, for paper plates, sugar, and flour. And she sadly never made it back home. She was less than a block away.
Yeah, that. Damn.
How does someone intercept that quickly?
I'm telling
you. That's
you,
crazy.
That is pure bad timing, wrong place, wrong time for that little girl because she had to just be going to where this monster was. He had to have just already been there.
Yeah, police think he took her from the parking lot of the store.
Yeah, like he had to have been like rolling up as she's rolling out or whatever. Their path just happened, even though it was only a fucking block. Their path just happened to cross at that exact moment. Unfortunately, like this is terrible.
I know. Less than 3 hours later, her body was found just off the shoulder of Pennsylvania Avenue in Prince George's County, Maryland, by a hitchhiker. She was strangled and sexually assaulted, but her strangulation was so violent that the killer broke her esophagus.
Well, he worked quickly for this one.
3 hours, yeah.
Yeah, that's quick. So I feel like he's escalating. I feel like
I know.
I do feel I'm going to stick with my theory so far that yeah, maybe the protests gave him the confidence to start. You know, like the police were occupied or whatever, and now it's just snowballed of him like he because we'll never know and understand the brain of a killer, but like there's always a first, you know what I mean? So you have that first,
right,
and then he got comfortable and it kept on going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mentioned that with another victim that like the first one, he kept her for days.
Yeah.
And now he's killing them within hours.
Yeah. So he's definitely way more comfortable with being violent.
Yeah, and what he's doing, yeah. Her shoes were missing, but she was fully clothed, and authorities found unknown green fibers on her clothing, like with Carol. After this fourth murder, the community started to panic and become angry with police for their lack of progress into all of the investigations. The media believed the murders were the work of one killer who was using I-295 to hunt his victims since their bodies were all found near the highway. The Daily News gave the killer's name Freeway Phantom. The police also enlisted the help of the FBI at this time due to the growing concern of a serial killer, and a joint task force was formed. The police and FBI re-examined evidence and suspected the crimes were all from the same killer. And then a fifth body appeared. In the early morning hours of November 16, 1971, a female body was discovered by a police officer near Route 202. The body was identified as 18-year-old Brenda Denise Woodard. Brenda lived with her family in Baltimore, Maryland, along Maryland Avenue. Brenda was outgoing and enjoyed spending time at local restaurants with friends after school. On November 15, 1971, Brenda was taking night classes at Cardozo High School because she wanted to perfect her shorthand and typing skills. When class ended, Brenda and her classmate went to Ben's Chili Bowl for dinner. Dinner.
Dinner.
Because I said Brenda, and then it out came dinner. Brenda's classmate would usually give her a ride home, but the friend's car was in the shop, so they had to take the bus. Which is so sad that the one time she didn't get a ride home, she's abducted and murdered.
Yeah. Yes.
And I bet her friend probably felt so guilty when she found out.
Probably, but you can never. I know, it's hard to it's not going to solve anything, but
no,
you just can't blame yourself for those things. You couldn't have known. Same as all those mothers.
Right. How would she have possibly known that?
Yeah, all the mothers in this that sent their kids to the store for that, sugar and paper plates and all that.
They probably always send them for.
Yes, they probably thought nothing of it. It was just a normal thing.
Yep. Brenda got off at 8th and H Street and had to transfer to another bus to get home. This was the last time Brenda was seen alive. It's unclear if Brenda was abducted at the second bus stop or while walking home. And then her body was found just 6 hours later. Brenda was found strangled and sexually assaulted, but she was also stabbed multiple times.
Now we're escalating. Okay.
Authorities were able to determine that Brenda likely fought off her attacker because of the defense wounds that were discovered on her hands.
Well, she's the oldest victim so far.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
Something else different with this victim is that a velvet coat had been laid over her body with a note in the pocket that read, "This is tantamount to my insensitivity to people, especially women. I will admit the others when you catch me if you can." And the note was signed Freeway Phantom. It seemed as though the killer likely forced Brenda to write the note before killing her because it appeared to be written in her own handwriting.
Ugh, that's gross.
Now I can't imagine. She was probably literally shaking and crying, writing this note that he's telling her to. I can't imagine.
Yeah, and I mean, she's 18 years old. I'm sure whether it's from directly finding out or from her parents or whoever, she probably is aware of this killer out there. That
right,
and she's writing this letter for them, signing it. Like that. And it's such an ego thing. Making that note and everything. Sir, the news gave you that fucking name. Don't act like you're some big,
I know,
big and bad serial killer here. Fuck off. You're targeting, for one, women, and majority of them children.
Yes.
Fuck off.
I know, so infuriating.
Yeah, punch him.
Just as the investigation started picking up, it seemed as though the Phantom vanished. Months went by with no murders. Brenda Crockett's sister, Bertha, was quoted saying, "I was scared for me and every other little girl after that. Everybody was phoning in suspects to the police department. We were looking at priests, police officers, doctors. Every male that you could think of ended up being a suspect at one time," end quote. And I could see why people would think it's a police officer, someone that would look or seem trusting to these young girls, and then...
Yeah.
And they know how to get away with the crime. So, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's a good theory, I'll admit.
It was suspected that the FBI's involvement and increased media attention may have scared the killer off. That is, until another body was found in September of 1972 now. On September 5th, 1972, 17-year-old Diane Denise Williams failed to come home after visiting her boyfriend. He walked her to the bus stop around 11:20 p.m., which was not far from the location where Spinks and Darlenia Johnson were abducted. She was seen boarding the bus, and the bus driver recalled that Diane exited the bus at the Martin Luther King and South Capitol Street stop. Unfortunately, she never made it home because her body was found the next morning by a truck driver along Interstate 295 again, on a grassy incline. The location of Diane's body was approximately 2 miles from her home. She was strangled, and there was no sign of sexual assault, but semen was found on her clothing.
Okay.
So police were wondering if that could have come from her boyfriend, but her boyfriend denied that they had any sexual encounter while she was visiting him.
Which, I mean, this is a real life investigation here, so I can hope that he's telling the truth.
Right.
Just admit to it. They're not trying to tell you per se that you're the crime committer here. They just need to know, is this DNA yours? So I'm hoping he's telling the truth. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I hope so. Diane was born on February 2nd, 1955. She was the oldest of 6 children. Those who knew Diane remember her incredible taste in fashion, and she dreamed of being a model. She grew up in a large and loving family in Halley Terrace and was a senior at, I don't know if it's Ballou High School in Washington, D.C. She had made her family dinner just before she left home to visit her boyfriend. Her younger sister, Patricia Williams, later joined the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department in part to help solve her sister's murder.
Hell yeah, girlfriend.
Yeah, you'd do it.
Yeah.
After Diane's murder, the killings stopped altogether.
Oh. So that's September.
She was the 6th victim.
72. Okay.
Detectives tried to connect known sexual predators to the murders. In 1974, police received a tip from convicted rapist Morris Warren, a Virginia prison inmate who claimed to have known the identity of the Freeway Phantom. The FBI took him on ride-alongs to test his credibility, but Warren's details were full of inconsistencies. Police also knew he was lying when letters written by Warren were intercepted where he admitted to lying to the police, hoping to get a release from prison in exchange for information on the Phantom.
Yeah, of course. There's always... Listen.
It happens in every case. There's always someone.
Once whatever his crime was, okay, they're desperate in there. They're going to try anything they can to get out. I'm not saying that, anybody should be doing that, but yeah, you can't, I don't know, trust a convict as far as you can throw him type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Without any suspects or leads, time passed and other cases took precedence, such as the Watergate scandal in June of 1972 with President Nixon, which took most of the D.C. Metropolitan Police manpower.
Wow, D.C. just falling the fuck apart in the early 70s, ain't they?
They really were.
Yeah.
Protests, a bad president, and a serial killer.
Yeah, Nixon. I'm not very good at history, but I at least know a little bit.
Yeah. He wasn't great.
Nah.
The task force also eventually dissolved that they started on the case. Then in 1987, Detective Romaine Jenkins was promoted to sergeant and made solving the Phantom cases a top priority. She was the homicide detective that wanted to investigate during the protests, and they told her no. So now she's sergeant.
Well, I was just going to say, for that little task force group that they got together to just dissolve tells me how much these people actually fucking cared about it, because for it to just dissolve and for you to just move on tells me you really didn't care and were not committed to trying to solve this serial killer.
Yep.
Yeah, because not that I would ever be a detective or anything, but if I am on that fucking case, I am not backing off until it is solved, no matter how much my boss is up my ass type of thing of moving on. Absolutely. This is 6 young Black children and women that were murdered. Like, can we not put in some fucking effort here?
Yeah, it's insane. She reopened the investigation, starting by searching for the case files and forensic evidence. In the case of Carol Spinks, I had mentioned a green fiber being found. That same green fiber was actually found on the clothing of at least 5 out of the 6 victims. Forensic analysts determined the fibers likely originated from a car rug or carpet, suggesting the victims were transported in the same vehicle.
Earlier,
other theories suggested they could have come from a bathroom rug, but
no, earlier I was literally going to say, when you said that the green fibers, I was going to say, this is the 70s. The interior of that car somewhere is green. Whatever car it is. What, I don't know. I mean, we're in the 70s, so like you won't find that kind of shit nowadays. Right, so, but
yeah,
back then, yeah, that car, and that's a unique, you know, I feel like clue to have here. That's, I don't know how popular green interior back in the 70s really was, but
I know.
I feel like this is a clue, you know?
I'm sure you would see it a lot more than you would see today. I'm sure there was, I wouldn't say it was popular, but I'm sure it was common enough.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievably, though, Jenkins found that detectives destroyed all forensic evidence and case files and lost many materials in a warehouse, including those green fibers. All the evidence is gone.
All right. I'm out. I can't stand people. Why are we? Why they're at every? I'm putting it out there now. At every police department, everywhere, whoever has fucking evidence, if it is fucking unsolved, leave it alone. Yeah. We have no idea where technology will be from now in 2025, even in 20, 30 years from now. Leave it alone. Let it collect.
It needs to be in a locked, fireproof, flood-proof box.
Yes, like a bank vault. Why can we have like bank safes and things that are, you know, withstanding all these terrible things? And we can't even do that with literally evidence to bring justice to people's murders. Like
we had evidence. We had it.
Yeah,
it's gone.
It's gone. And that actually, you know what? As you say it again, I'm pissed off about it because I really feel like those green fibers were something.
They were. Like, they could have been tested today.
Yes.
And we would have an answer. But here we are.
There's so many. I bet you we could have even, they probably could have tested it, figured it out, and we probably could have even narrowed down to make and model of like, even if it was 10 different makes and models, we could have fucking limited it down to a car or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Infuriating.
That is so frustrating. I want to know.
And it's inexcusable too.
It is
inexcusable.
I want to know who makes that final call because I need to meet you outside.
Yeah. Everyone involved in this case in the 70s, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Advocate more for victims.
But our victims were black.
And yeah, you're right. Here we are. It's the 70s and they were black.
That's all we have to say.
Yeah. Wow, what a I hate this place. I hate it here.
Me too. Yeah, it sucks here.
It does.
Evander Spinks, Carol's sister, was quoted saying, "The police came to our house and took all my sister's clothes, her pictures, everything, and now it's gone," end quote. So that's also terrible for their families that will never get these items back, like after they've been, should have been tested. They'll never see these items again either.
I would say, that tells me also, like, they didn't even look at the evidence, like, I don't know, like, you should have looked, you see, like, it's family memories and things. Why wouldn't you think to ask the family, like, hey, instead we burn this to ashes, would you like this back?
That's why I also don't understand. What do you mean it was destroyed? What did you do with it? What do you mean evidence was destroyed? To me, that sounds purposeful.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like, what are they doing anyway? I don't know why in my head it directly goes to, like, I don't know, a fucking bonfire in the back of the police station or something. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. What are they doing?
I don't know. Not their job. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Jenkins was obviously very angry over this finding, but she was able to reconstruct the destroyed case files with help from the FBI, but the evidence will sadly never get back.
You mean, like, no, not just the evidence. Literally, probably what we needed to solve this is gone.
Yes, the answer to the case is gone.
Yes, literally. Especially nowadays. You know what?
Yeah.
I forget what year you said that they destroyed it, but like, we could have done something with that now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I don't know exactly when it got destroyed, but in the 80s, when the case is picked back up, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay, so yeah,
So.
long time ago they destroyed that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. In 1990, the FBI created a behavioral profile for the killer. He was likely a black male between the ages of 27 and 32 years old at the time of the murders, described as a typical or average in appearance, allowing him to blend into the community without drawing suspicion. He displayed above average intelligence and was considered extremely clever in his ability to evade capture and leave minimal evidence. Profiled as potentially having military experience or working in law enforcement due to the skills shown in the abductions and knowledge of how to avoid leaving forensic evidence. He was likely an unreliable employee, possibly working in a blue-collar capacity. Profilers include he was a psychopath driven by a deep-seated hatred toward women and children. He was motivated by rage, focused on society, feeling wronged or ignored by people in power. He exhibited a poor self-image and felt a need to prove his greatness or masculinity through his crimes and communications. He sought recognition, exemplified by forcing victims to call their families or leaving a note in a victim's pocket signed Freeway Phantom. Likely lived or worked in Southeast Washington, D.C., and had intimate knowledge of the region, including local stores and freeways. He owned a car or truck which he used to transport victims between abduction sites and dump sites and near major highways like I-295. He targeted young black females ages 10 to 18 running errands or returning from work/school. Some victims, like Carol Spinks, were kept alive and fed for several days before being killed, indicating he had access to a private, secure location like an abandoned house. Victims were often found barefoot with their shoes removed or clothing neatly placed nearby, suggesting a ritualistic process or like keeping items for his own benefit or like a trophy, I guess. No arrest has ever been made, and Sergeant Romaine Jenkins retired in 1994. Jenkins says questions about the victim still race through her mind, and she's quoted saying, "I always think of these young ladies. How did he keep these girls? How did he do it without anyone knowing? How did he select them?" End quote.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my eval of everything you just gave me about that profile. For one, I realized I think it'd be a cool job to be an FBI profiler.
It would be.
Yeah, I think that'd be.
I don't know how they do it, but it would
I don't know either. But what I know you don't have the answer to this, but one thing they said that they think he lives in the southeast part of DC. I want to know how they came to that conclusion, because when you were telling me that all of these victims are dumped off of, what is it, 295? I wanted to know, does 295 run north-south or east-west? Because then I was curious on which which direction, on which side of the highway these are being dumped, because I'm curious if they come to that conclusion because of how the bodies are dumped and how, like, he's coming to these victims and then dumping them. Because in my head, I was thinking it's always on 295. I wonder if he's traveling it to go home or something, or like he's familiar with that highway. So I didn't know which direction this highway, he's obviously familiar with this highway. He has to be. Like, he's comfortable with it. So I was curious if it's an east to west highway or a north to south highway. And so I was thinking if maybe because like how do you profile something like that of where he lives? I'm wondering if they were profiling that from where they're finding these bodies and where he's picking them up type.
Right. And I know most of the victims lived in Southeast DC.
So that's why they're thinking, okay,
That he lives nearby.
I'll have to Google how 295 runs because I'm trying to picture in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or it's probably just a highway he's familiar with. So he's like, I know this spot. I'll dump him here.
I mean, because he's
I
not
know the
changing
times of
though.
the right. Because I know the times of the day that this highway isn't busy.
Yeah,
I'll dump it here.
yeah. That's
You
why
know.
like he has to be familiar enough with it because he never changed it up. He never
Mm-hmm.
he's stuck with the same dumping area ish, type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the first thing, and then. Dang, I'm trying to think. I was really focused on the highway thing because I was really
Uh-huh.
curious if it was running south north type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, also, okay, so the other thing I was thinking, he took a little break in between there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also thinking, because they said he probably doesn't have like an upstanding job type of thing. I was wondering if he got into like a theory of like some small crime. Like he may
Yeah. Like
not
was
be
arrested. Or...
a full-on criminal yet. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Yeah.
you are not squeaky clean and you're murdering people. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
generally, like there are those
Mm-hmm.
people out there that are doing that, but I'm saying like you're
Yeah.
generally not a squeaky clean citizen of that has never had anything. And so I'm wondering if that 1 month, I don't know, maybe I think it was a month or
Right.
so.
Yeah. Because what was he? Why did he? It was. There was a little bit of a gap between some of the victims, but from the fifth victim to the sixth victim, there was a 9-month gap.
Okay, that's where it was. So 9 months. That's why I'm
Mhm.
wondering, what if he got in prison? Like, what if this person
Right.
actually has a fucking record?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And even so, like, why did he come back and only kill one more
I was going
and
to
then stop
ask
after that
you
one?
when we get to the end of this. I was going to ask you what your
Mm-hmm.
theories on why he stopped was, because the only thing I could think, I mean, you're 6 deep in that amount of time, is you're dead or you're imprisoned, right?
Right. Yeah, that's my only thing. Like, he's life in prison for something, or he died.
I feel like somebody who's this much of a monster, what they're doing, you don't
Mm-hmm.
just like stop one day. You don't just like wake up and
Right.
be like,
There's
you know
no
what?
way
I
he
think
was
I'm going to
just
be a,
satisfied after 6.
yeah.
Like,
Or wake up and be like, I'm going to be an upstanding citizen today. Like, no, it doesn't
right.
they
Yeah.
don't just wake up and have an epiphany, So
Mm-hmm.
what stopped him? I was going to ask you later, like what your theory is. You don't have to go over it now. I want you
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you get everything
Yeah.
out and then we can go over your theories. But like with that profile and everything, it would be cool to be an FBI profile. But
It would be.
I feel like, so they were saying about the job thing that he obviously probably, I think, had some kind of criminal background. It's just like you can't just like pull a criminal out of the air and be like, this is the guilty one.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably something small, very small,
Yeah.
you know? So
Mm-hmm.
there's that one. I do believe he was probably a black man. And one reason
Mm-hmm.
why I feel like he was is because we're in DC. We are back in the 70s, and all 6 of these little black girls were trusting this person. And like,
Yeah.
not that I'm not trying to say I understand any of that, but I'm saying I feel like maybe that person would be a little more trustworthy to these girls, somebody like that to
Right.
them.
Yeah.
So I do feel like that. Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to take from that. I feel like I feel like it said a lot and nothing much at all at the same time.
I know. Like, I feel like it kind of said things that we all kind of like assumed.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was smart in some way that he's evading not just police, but DC police.
Yeah. And like,
He's not leaving much evidence behind other than a note, some fibers, maybe some semen.
I mean, he's ballsy. He's snatching these
Yeah.
girls. Like, it is not like
Mm-hmm.
they're out at 2 a.m. It's not like we're talking
Right.
about people out
Because
of.
there's no witnesses to any of these abductions.
No, or nobody's come forward anyway.
Yeah, no one's come forward with any.
So it's
He
like,
just snatches them and that's that.
yeah, he's
So that's why I feel like it has to be maybe a police officer.
somebody who
Someone
can,
of authority, that a black police officer that they maybe are like trusting of. I don't
someone
know.
Someone that can hide in daylight like that, like
Yes. Mm-hmm.
committing like things like that in the daylight. Somebody who has that kind of facade, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know. I still
Yeah.
like I said, that FBI profile is all they is what they could give us, but I feel like it really doesn't give us too much.
It doesn't. Yeah. And also, I don't know if you picked up on it while I was talking about each victim, but 4 of them share the same middle name of Denise.
Oh, no, I did not.
We have Carol Denise Spinks, Darlenia Denise Johnson, Brenda Denise Woodard, and Diane Denise Williams.
That has to just be coincidence. It has to.
I know.
I mean,
Because there's many observers and like investigators who found the shared middle name suspicious, but criminal profilers theorize that it's just like a tragic coincidence. Like they suggest the killer chose his victims based on physical appearance or like how close they were to his hunting grounds rather than like a personal detail such as a middle name.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And
Yeah.
like how would he know all their middle names anyway unless he was like a teacher
Yeah.
or something that but I don't think they all went to the same school, so I just feel like
No. I think that's a crazy coincidence.
but it is a very strange coincidence.
Yeah, that is. But I think it's like I said, what is not a coincidence to me is that these are all black women, children.
Mhm.
Um if especially like I said, we're back in the 70s. If he is black, I
Mhm.
feel like this is like that is something that we can connect here for sure. I agree with without a shadow of a doubt. That's the type of perpetrator we're looking for here. We can at
Yeah.
least like say that about the profile. And I
Mhm.
bet the
Yeah.
age range is probably accurate too. I mean, he fought
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
the 18-year-old fought back, you know?
Mhm.
So we're not talking about like some 67-year-old man who's,
Yeah.
like so I bet that's accurate too. And
Mhm.
um he's probably close enough to these victims' ages that they do trust him a little bit more, you know?
Right. Mhm.
It's just fucked up because like it
Mhm.
is literally just a predator preying on um the innocence of them that they trust him, like he took advantage of that with
Right.
all of
Yes,
them.
absolutely.
That's yeah. Oof.
And, like, I also never came across anything in my research linking the victims to each other. Like, oh, they all went to the same church, or they all
Yeah.
played at the same park, or anything like that. So, like, it is just very strange that 4 of them share the same middle name. It's just
Yeah.
weird. All right. Another interesting thing I came across in my research is geographic profiling. So there are zones where a killer will and won't operate, and these zones are like made out of rings, like they're round rings.
Okay.
Kim Rossmo, a former Canadian police officer and a professor at Texas State University, developed a computer system that plots crime events on a map and helps determine where a suspect's what they call anchor point is, which would be the killer's home or place of work.
Okay.
The anchor point is in the middle, and the neighborhood around that anchor point is well known to the killer. He knows the roads, the side streets, traffic patterns, maybe police patrols, but he is likely well known here. So if he tries to pick up a victim, the people in the center ring may know who he is, which will make him easier to capture. So a killer is less likely in most cases to operate in that center ring around the anchor point. The next ring out is where the victim hunting takes place, in most cases. These are neighborhoods and streets that the serial killer knows very well, but he is not known there. The killer has to be able to navigate with the victim to wherever he intends to kill them with ease. He's possibly made trial runs back and forth to where he kills them to make sure it will go smoothly. And the final outermost circle represents geography where the killer is not likely to operate. He isn't familiar with the area, so this is the area where the killer is not confident that he can pull off his crime and not get caught. The anchor point for the Freeway Phantom is either St. Elizabeth's Hospital or Congress Heights. I came across both in my research. Congress Heights is where Carol Spinks and Darlenia Johnson lived, and St. Elizabeth's, or St. E's as a lot of locals call it, was a psychiatric facility in the 1970s Congress Heights was just south from it. And that hospital was built around the time of the Civil War. The first two victims were found on the shoulder of I-295, about 20 feet away from the perimeter fence for St. Elizabeth's, suggesting the killer may be tied to that place in some way. Which brings us to the main suspect in this case.
Do we
Robert
have
Askins. Well, we do, but, or I guess a potential perpetrator. I don't know if we can really call him a suspect.
Okay, before you tell us who it is, about the anchor point thing, if you sit and think about it, there is something to that, because if I'm not that I'm a fucking murderer here, guys, but like if you just sit here and think about where you're sitting right now, where you live, right? And like, say you branched out in a circle to those neighborhoods, because like I've lived 10 years where I am now. I mean, Kirsten, you've spent your entire life where you are. So think about where you are. Think about branching out, and if you decided to go commit a crime in those neighborhoods that you're familiar with, but they wouldn't know you there. It's like, that's accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and then you go out to the next circle, and then you go out to the next circle. That makes sense. Like, even, I mean, we're not people who are going to commit those kind of crimes, but if they were trying to investigate us and deem that anchor point, it makes sense that you would travel out like that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like that. I never heard of that before, like that, how they evaluate that type of thing. That's interesting. I like that.
Robert Elwood Askins was born on January 7th, 1919. I don't know where he was born, but I don't care because this man sucks.
Okay, yep.
On December 28th, 1938, Askins executed what can only be described as a calculated poisoning inside a Washington, D.C. brothel. He prepared whiskey laced with cyanide and presented it to 5 sex workers, framing the act as a contest with a $1 reward for whoever drank it the fastest.
Oh.
31-year-old Ruth McDonald consumed the full dose. By the time paramedics arrived, she was already deceased. 2 days later, Askins returned to the same location and fatally stabbed 26-year-old Elizabeth Johnson. When taken into custody, he told investigators he believed he had contracted a disease from a sex worker and stated that he would, quote, kill them all at one time if he could, end quote.
Wow. Okay. Well, first I want to say, if I worked at that brothel and I was presented with that challenge, I would fucking die. I just want to be honest here, because I'm not a good loser. So I'd be dead. I'd be that one. And second off, wow, what a way to just, like, I don't know, like, take out your anger for sticking you decided to stick your dick in somebody, my guy. What came out with it is your problem now.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, don't go blaming somebody who's trying to pay their bills. Like, literally their fucking job is to bang everybody in the town. I mean, and we're also talking like way back then, like our standards are really not up to par with things of cleanliness and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, dude,
38,
yeah, like what the fuck are you thinking that you're just gonna get out of here clean and go, you know? Like,
yeah,
that's the type of person that gives the full profile of, like, I hate women, how they were saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the I hate women thing.
Yeah, he sure does. His statements indicated a clear fixation and a targeted victim profile. He was transferred to Gallinger Hospital for psychiatric evaluation, where he assaulted 3 orderlies with a chair.
Jesus criminy!
Yep. So behavior consistent with escalating impulsivity and violence.
Yep, okay.
During his trial, it emerged that Askins had been working as a police informant, assisting in the arrests of sex workers, adding a layer of complexity to his relationship with law enforcement. In April of 1939, he was declared criminally insane and committed to St. Elizabeth's Hospital.
Oh.
After his release in 1951, Askins resumed violent offending. In April of 1952, he strangled 42-year-old Laura Cook. By 1954, he faced indictment not only for her murder, but for several similar assaults he was still committing. He was also retried for the 1938 cyanide killing after being deemed legally sane. Askins claimed the poison had been intended for his own suicide, but forensic evidence and behavioral patterns contradicted that narrative, and he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 15 years to life, though the conviction was overturned in 1958 due to a statute of limitations technicality.
I'm fucking done with this justice system.
Like, he's a murderer.
Literally. And also,
there is no statute of limitations on murder.
Yeah, what the fuck are you trying to say here? And also, he was trying to kill himself, so we bet $1. We bet $1 on who could drink it the quickest. Yeah.
Then why are you handing it out to other people if you're using it to kill yourself?
Yeah, fuck out of here.
In March of 1977, at age 58 and employed as a computer technician at the National Science Foundation, Askins was charged with abducting and raping a 24-year-old woman inside his home. Detectives reviewing his background uncovered his extensive history of violent crimes, which made them consider, is he involved in the Freeway Phantom murders? The following year, his residence was searched in connection with the Freeway Phantom murders. Inside his row house, investigators found a knife linked to another crime, photographs of young women, women's scarves, and an essay written by a young girl. One item stood out to investigators: court documents containing the word tantamount.
Okay.
That same unusual word had been written in the note left on the body of Brenda Woodard.
Shit, I need to just speak when I want to speak, because when you said that earlier, I was gonna be like, that's kind of weird. Like, literally, when you read that to me, I thought to myself, that's kind of a weird phrasing to like use. But then I didn't say anything because I was like, well, I don't know about, like, I don't know, phrases in the 70s and things, you know?
Right, yeah. Yep. Askins was known to use that term frequently at work, raising investigative suspicion. Despite these findings, searches of his backyard and later his vehicle, where 2 gold buttons and an earring were recovered, they did not yield any conclusive forensic evidence tying him to the Freeway Phantom killings. So ultimately, no charges were ever filed.
Okay, so the only problem, like, there's probably others if I sit here and really think about it, but the one major problem I have was, are all of his other victims black, is what I want to know.
Yeah, that I'm not sure.
And is he black?
He is.
He is black. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I didn't look any of the victims up, but yeah, I don't know.
Because his victim profile is black women. Like, it is. So I'm just curious, because that's, I don't know. I feel like that's such a prominent, because we've done so much, just saying, because we've done so much research, we've done our things on cases. To me, from the experience I've had, I feel like that is such a prominent thing here, is that all his victims are black.
Right.
And I know that's shitty to say, but like that, so I was just curious if all the rest of them ended up being, but like,
right.
I wasn't sure if he was black or not. You said he is. So that, okay. So he was born in 1919, so 20, so we're going to the 70s. So he'd be in his 50s when he's committing those crimes. A 50-year-old could be fighting off an 18-year-old, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you looking up and see if they are?
I didn't see any pictures of the first one.
Okay.
Or of Cook. I'm gonna look up Elizabeth Johnson. I know it's so long ago. Who knows if there's even pictures of them?
I know.
Yeah, there's like nothing obvious at what these victims look like.
So
I don't know if they were black.
Yeah, I don't want to assume that they were. So I don't want to try and make that kind of connection. But one other connection that I could sit here and make is, like, it seems like he's the type of guy who wants to make a fucking statement. You know, with the brothel thing of, like, you wronged me. You know, what if, like how I did the Micah Johnson case with the 2016 mass shooting in Dallas, right? What if he was somebody who took what happened in '68 of Martin Luther King Jr. being assassinated, and then he took took from that as a black man. I don't know, but he's I don't know. He's targeting his own race.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's too far of a
Yeah.
stretch for me.
I
I
don't
take
know.
it back, I guess. I was trying to make a connection. It really didn't connect as much as I thought it would, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
I
know
know
if
it's tough.
yeah, I don't think this is the guy. I don't.
Yeah, he does fit some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Deep down inside in my little gut, I don't feel like this is our man.
The St. Elizabeth connection is weird, though.
It is, that's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he wasn't tried or anything in the Freeway Phantom case, but he was tried and sentenced to life in prison in March of 1977 for crimes against the 24-year-old female, including the kidnapping and rape of 2 other women. He remained in the Federal Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland until his death in 2010. So he definitely fits some of the profile, I think, but just like there's nothing concrete to like officially link him.
2010. That motherfucker lived till 91 years old.
Yeah, he did not deserve to.
He didn't. Why do motherfuckers like that get to live that long? He literally tried to
I don't know.
cyanide kill
Like,
5.
why didn't anyone take him out in prison?
Yeah, what the fuck? 2010?
Yeah,
That really wasn't that long ago.
I know it wasn't.
Jesus. Okay. I don't think he was it, though. I don't. I can't say with confidence at all
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
obviously, like,
yeah,
that was the guy, but we don't really have anybody else. And
I know.
also, why did he stop? If this was the guy, why did he stop? He stopped
Mm-hmm.
committing any more crimes. I don't think
Yeah,
he's our guy. I think our guy was incarcerated or killed
it's very possible.
just to stop his little spree there. I feel like
Right,
that.
to just restart and then abruptly stop
Yeah.
at the same time, it doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah. He had to be forced to stop in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the amount he was going in a year's time. Could you imagine if he wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
stopped, how many we would have got to?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Because they were really
And
not.
the first one was in April, so April to December, or no, not even April to. Last one was October, I think,
September.
before the final.
Yeah. So that's like a. Yeah, but it was April 71 to 72, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like almost
But
18
then he had
months.
the break from. I
Oh,
think he
yeah.
had the break from October of 71 to then the last kill in 72.
Okay. Yeah. So he had like that 9 months. So even though it was like 18 months, it really was only like 9 months of actively doing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were 6 of them. That's average almost a kill a month. I mean, that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
aggressive for a serial killer, I
Yeah.
feel like. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna stand behind he either died or was incarcerated. And the guy that you said I don't remember, I don't think that was him. I don't think so. That's Amber's theory.
The next yeah. The next potential suspect in the Freeway Phantom investigation is a group known as the Green Vega Rapists, or the Green Vega Gang.
Okay.
It was a crew of serial rapists operating throughout Washington, D.C. in the early 1970s.
I hate it here.
Like, a gang of rapists?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. What do you do? Just have that conversation over breakfast?
Right. Hey, you guys want to start a gang? We all suck. Let's suck together.
Yeah. And we're just gonna rape people. Like, what? Jesus.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Their attacks occurred in the same neighborhoods and along the same highway corridors where the Phantom later abandoned his victims. The gang was known for using a green Chevrolet Vega as their primary abduction vehicle, and like the Phantom, primarily targeted black women and girls. By the mid-1970s, detectives began interviewing several gang members who were incarcerated at Lorton Prison. One member, Morris Fatsy Warren, briefly appeared to provide a breakthrough. He implicated another gang member in the Freeway Phantom murders and offered details that investigators believed were known only to the killer and law enforcement. But the lead collapsed almost immediately after a local politician publicly revealed that the prison interviews were taking place. So he feared for retaliation from the gang, recanted his statements, and refused to cooperate further. So,
but I'm still not convinced on that one either.
yeah. So, despite the geographic overlap, the victim profile similarities, and the suggestive statements from within the gang, investigators were never able to uncover any physical evidence, so no DNA, fingerprints, or anything that definitively linked the Green Vega gang to the 6 known Freeway Phantom victims. But at the same time, we have no evidence to compare it to anyway.
No, but even just thinking about how consistent from one murder to the next that like I forget what word I'm looking for, but like the strangulation and the sexual assault, it was all repeated. Like the same things kept happening. When we're talking about a gang, I feel like that's when things get too sloppy and there's not those repetitive
right, because it's not just one person.
No, each individual has their own. Nobody's going to do the same thing as their partner that they're committing a crime with. You know what I mean? So right. I feel like the similarities from one to the next is too similar to say that there are even multiple people here.
Yeah, and why would these young girls get in the car with a gang member?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right there.
Or just some random guy that they don't recognize.
Yeah, this is one man. Yeah.
And like it sucks because like I wholeheartedly believe we would have the answer to this case with the technology we have today.
Yep.
If we had the evidence.
I agree with you. I do too. I think this could be how they just recently solved what was the Golden State Killer. Yeah, I feel like it could be one of those where like that person's dead and gone, and we've got nothing else to go on, but DNA came in the clutch here and fucking solved that shit.
I think he was still alive. I think he was put in prison. I believe so.
Well, then who's the one I'm thinking of that was like dead back in the 90s and they just recently identified? I don't fucking know.
I'm sure it's someone.
It was like a famous. I swear to God, I didn't dream this. I'm just so bad at names, I can't remember names. So.
Investigators have continued working on this case throughout the years, though. In the early 2000s, Sergeant Rick Falganitti, a longtime Prince George's detective, was working in the department's cold case unit when he was assigned to investigate the Phantom cases. His department received a tip about a potential suspect. He flew the whole way to Utah to get DNA samples from the suspect's relatives and from an old envelope. He also learned that authorities had located a semen sample at the Maryland Medical Examiner's office that had been taken at the autopsy at one of the Phantom's victims. Technicians were sadly unable to extract any comparable DNA from the sample.
Damn it.
I know. Every time we're like close to something, we just get pushed back. Over the years, detectives and federal agents have gone through rosters of areas' mental health facilities and staff at recreation centers. They did background checks on substitute teachers who might have known the girls. They developed more than 100 potential suspects, including a real estate developer, an Air Force colonel, and dozens of convicted sex offenders, but nothing came of it. The families, of these victims have been tormented by the killings for 54 years now.
Yeah. Damn.
Carolyn Morris, Carol Spinks's twin sister, said the killer still lurks in her thoughts and dreams and has wrecked her life. She fell into drug addiction and alcoholism and couldn't hold down a job. She even consulted a psychic to help find the killer. She overprotected her 4 children, and it took her many years to even tell her kids what happened to the aunt they never knew. And she was quoted saying, "I feel like there is something missing in me. That's how I feel. You're always looking for this thing, but you can't find it. It is still very scary," end quote. So let's none of us forget these victims or their families. Like, we need to keep this story alive. So please share this episode or video if you're watching on YouTube with your friends and family. Like, we might not have physical evidence, but like, there still could be someone out there that knows something.
I'll say it's not that long ago. Like, those people who know somebody of somebody are still alive. They have to be.
Yeah. And it also, like, it doesn't help that this investigation was failed in many ways, like from police not taking it seriously at the first due to the protests, evidence being lost, and then there's clearly racial bias going on too.
Yeah, like that's I can't get over that. We're not talking about one murder here. You know, I'm not saying a certain amount of murders make anything more important than the next, but this is a serial killer, multiple,
An unknown serial killer.
yes, like this is crazy. Like we can solve this. This has to be solvable.
Yeah. And, like, would this case have been treated the same if the victims were white?
You know that answer. It's the 70s, man.
I do.
Yeah. And that's fucked up.
Like, will we ever know who did this? And, like, why did he do this?
Yeah.
Why did he stop after 6?
Yep. Why did he start, too? You know, like...
Right. Or did he start killing victims of a different profile that, like, just weren't being connected to this?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe he felt like police were getting too close, but he couldn't stop murdering, so he was, moved on a different profile. But then, I don't know, like, maybe just those cases weren't connected to anything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he just chose to stop, like...
No, I agree with you. He did not choose to stop. He was forced to stop. I think. This is... Well... Yeah. Tell us your theories, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, please. Message us. Leave us a comment. We want to know.
Yeah, that's... I can't believe it's a serial killer that's unsolved here.
Yeah, it's a serial killer. So, those are the questions that remain. There is still a $150,000 reward for information leading to the killer.
Wow.
You can call the SOCC, or the Synchronized Operation Command Center, at 202-727-9099, or you can email unsolved.murder@dc.gov if you have any information.
Yes. If you do, please, seriously. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And that's the case of the Freeway Phantom.
Yeah, I didn't know I just knew of the name, so I didn't know all that. That was, wow. That's...
very sad.
Yeah, it leaves a little pit in my stomach to leave it like that we really...
I know, especially because this is one I don't think we're going to solve it.
I don't either.
I don't think we're going to get answers in our lifetime.
No, I don't think so. Just because we don't have that possible DNA evidence that we could possibly have.
Like, what evidence are we going to get 54 years later? Like, we have nothing to compare anything to, unless someone just admits to it.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, which is possible, but I still think if he stopped, I think it's because he was dead or incarcerated. And at this point, he probably, even if he was incarcerated, that forced him to stop, I bet he's dead by now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Probably.
Unfortunately. Damn.
Yeah.
Make Like a Shadow and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at
Lurking in the Shadows Podcast.
Check us out on TikTok at
Lurking in the Shadows Pod.
And any questions, concerns, or case suggestions, shoot us a Gmail at
lurkingintheshadowspodcast@gmail.com. Keep lurking around for our next episode.
Bye!